Well, are women leaders better than men? That's the question we all want to have answered, isn't it? And what can we learn from them? Well, my guests today are Lisa Shasteen and Joanne Weiland, and they'll answer exactly that question. And everyone, including men, can learn a thing or two today. After that, we'll have our bobblehead of the week, and the question we'll answer there is, where's the beef? This is Malcolm Out Loud. The show is just ahead. Everybody else blends in. Why blend in? Hell, look at me. And it's called Getting to the Point. It's time for everybody to get loud. The show is just ahead. Well, today we're here to talk about leadership. And as you know, a leader is defined as a person that is capable of inspiring others with a dream and also to engage them in order to achieve a common goal. So, are women better leaders than men? That's the question, right? Well, welcome to Women Leaders at the Mic, Thinking on the Brink. This is Malcolm Out Loud. Welcome to the show. And today we have two very special ladies I'm thrilled to have with me, Lisa Shasteen and Joanne Weiland. Let me tell you just a bit about both. Lisa Shasteen is well-known in the real estate circles. She is the president and co-founder of the Shasteen Sizeboard Company and serves as the board of directors of the Florida Association of Realtors. She is currently working on the highly anticipated restoration and reopening of the Floridon Palace, Florida's first ever skyscraper hotel extraordinaire. We're all dying to see that open, Lisa. And next up, Joanne Weiland is the founder and chief connections officer of Link to Expert. It's a network of experts, executives, speakers, coaches, and event professionals. Link to Expert was nominated for the 2010 Emerging Technology Company of the Year, 2009 Innovation of the Year, and 2008 Quantum Leap of the Year awards. No question. Leave it to Joanne. So, welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good to have you both here. About time we catch up.
Yeah.
It's good to be here.
Had to do it on the show. So, well, let me start off and talk about, we've been talking about this special segment about women breaking through the glass ceiling. And it's one of the things I want to touch on is within your own as business entrepreneurs, not just executives, but women entrepreneurs yourself. Do men and women have different leadership styles? Lisa?
Well, I think they do. And I would say that one is not necessarily better than the other. What I would say is that for probably centuries, there have been different expectations of women and different expectations of men. When you think of a woman leader in your mind, you may have a different image than you do of a man and how they would act and respond in certain situations. So I think of necessity, women have to at least pay homage or recognize the differences in creating their own leadership style. And I don't think, like I said, I don't think one's better than the other, but I do think that it's different.
Interesting. Lisa, we'll answer that when I tell you about the research survey in just a moment with Pew. Joanne, what about you?
I think they're different, but I think in good ways. I mean, but it's just like every person is unique, so I also think every leader is unique.
Whether it's a man or a woman.
Exactly.
Okay. So it's just about playing to the strengths, I guess, huh?
Yes.
Yeah, probably. Well, ladies, let me tell you about a study that was just done previously with Pew Research Center. Now, Pew Research Center, as you know, is a very notable research firm around the country that they focus on these kind of surveys to keep us all a little smarter. And it raised some serious questions. Respondents were asked to answer whether these traits are more true of a man or a woman. And the survey revealed some very interesting things. And the list of things you'll see on the screen right now. And some of the areas that were touched on were honesty, intelligence, hardworking, decisiveness, ambitious, compassionate, outgoing, and creative, okay? And they said women are more honest than men, they're more intelligent than men, they're more hardworking than men, they're more compassionate than men, they're more outgoing than men, and they're more creative than men. So what do you say to that?
Well, I think what I would say is that I think women have more compassion. I would have to agree with that. Now, whether this translates into success, I wouldn't know. Pew is the expert there.
Well, when we talk about, Lisa, these sort of traits here, okay, and Joanne, what's interesting about this is that when I just read to you these traits here, and there are, looks like 4 or 5, 8 of them, okay, which one, and Joanne, let me pose the question to you. I didn't read one of these. Because one of these traits on this page, the men are better at than women. Which one would you say it is?
Decisive.
Either good ear or good eye, good ear. You knew it. Well, that's right. While these are all important leadership traits, men are perceived as more decisive than women. And 44% of the respondents believe that men are more decisive than women versus 33% for the women. And just as ambitious as well. I want to get into that study just a little bit with you quickly because it's some very fascinating stats. Listen to this on these traits here a moment. All right. Each one of these were not 100% because some answered don't know or equally true. You understand.
Sure.
But are you ready for this? And you better have something intelligent to say after I give you this information because this says you got the goods.
Wait,
here,
it says we're more intelligent.
Here we go. Here we go. You ready? All right. Honesty. Men 20%, women 50%.
Whoa.
So who would you do business with?
Wow.
Okay, now hold on. Intelligence. Men, yeah, you're going to love this. Not so much the men, but intelligence 14%, women 38%. Okay. Hardworking 28%, 28% for men and women. Okay, both hardworking, okay? Ambitious 34%, 34%. Both. Women have become more ambitious now in the new century, of course. Compassionate. 5% for men, 80% for women. Joanne, is that crazy?
No, I can see that.
It's crazy. Outgoing, 28% for men, 47% for women. Okay. Creative, 11% for men, 62% for women. Okay. Decisiveness was the only one, 44% for men, 33% for women. What do you say to that?
That we better get more decisive.
So why aren't women more decisive is the question, Joanne.
I really think it boils down to, Malcolm, that a lot of times women are people pleasers. And as a people pleaser, you're not so decisive because you want to please everybody. So, oh, yes, Lisa. Oh, but yeah, Malcolm, I see it your way. So they can't really, they don't want to hurt anybody's feelings.
Okay, so how do we change that perception, Lisa?
Well, I think the decision-making ability of women is very individual, and I think it depends on your background and training. And it also depends on whether you were put in the crucible and you were actually given the challenge of making decisions in however you were raised, whether you were raised in IBM or a little boutique firm, you have got to be given the responsibility. And so I think the opportunities that we give people, women or men, when they're young, really determine how their style becomes. And I think, you can't really, with one person, change an entire perception, but you can one person at a time.
Yeah, there you go. Well said, Lisa. Yeah, I don't know if I really believe the study being a man or not. I'm not going to totally endorse it, by the way, just for the record. Okay, so I don't know. So, what do you think? Is it generally accepted that women are more risk adverse than the men, and does that mean they cannot be successful entrepreneurs? Do you think? You have to be decisive to be an entrepreneur. You have to be decisive to be the CEO or the chair of the board. What does that mean?
Well, I think, at least in my perspective, I reject that proposition because I've always been a risk taker. I've always been, a person that's willing to try something new and implement and get in there and work hard to make it happen.
Are you in the minority, though?
Maybe I am according to what the general perception is, but to me, living inside my body all my life, I think I'm probably normal. I think all of us think that we're normal.
Lisa, anybody who knows you know you're not normal. Joanne, on to that point, Joanne. No, but now if the men are more decisive and the women are not, and that's holding the back, but you see all the other traits, that women shine at. I mean, if they could be a little more decisive, wouldn't that be incredible?
Yes, but I agree with Lisa because it does depend on the way you grow up. I grew up in a man's world in the high-tech industry, and I was in decision-making roles, so I'm a risk taker, and people often tell me, male and female, that I'm crazy. But I don't think I am because I can't imagine being any other way either. Like you said, whoever you are, you think everyone is even like that. Sometimes you forget that just because you believe that doesn't mean the whole world does.
Well, go figure that Joanne is siding with Lisa. I can't imagine. They stick together as well. We didn't have that one in the Pew Research survey, but I assure you. Well, when we come back for the next segment with Lisa and Joanne, we're going to talk about how we can bring down some of the barriers that women leaders face with our guests, both Lisa Shasteen and Joanne Weiland. This is Malcolm Aloud again. Remember, get involved, get loud, and think on the brain.